Yeah, I have a medical update. And let me preface this update with the fact that if any of you attempt to start a GoFundMe account on my behalf, I will contact GoFundMe since would be the beneficiary and tell them to return all monies. I'm trying to actually figure out how to tell my best friend without him stepping in and so update. I told you that yesterday I had some hope. My doctor had recommended me to somebody who actually had experience. Yeah, Central Texas Sports Medicine, Dr. Chris Lutke. He's probably competent. He's, uh, probably got some experience. But at 8:15 this morning, I got a call from a sweet little old lady telling me that since I have both Medicare and Medicaid, that they don't accept Medicaid, the secondary payer, and that I'd have to. It's the money squeeze. This is America. It's really all about the money. Uh, uh, Telling me I have to pay 20%. 20% of what? Since they have these billing scales are all over the place, you can negotiate with them, and 20% becomes 5%. I think that's where she was kind of going, is like negotiate with her, or actually just go to. She didn't realize that the minute she said that, uh, being a above average IQ person, I know that in that area, and even in this area, my fallback is the Catholics. And pretty much, well, Dave alienated me. The Catholics alienated me. I began receiving really bad treatment after I began talking about. And the woman who runs the Caldwell St. Joseph Family Medical Clinic, her family's politically active and got their ass whipped by one of my friend's son twice. Kimberly Glidewell calls me and tells me I violated a contract. I'm sorry, when you go into a clinic or into a hospital, your signature means nothing. Like I have already said, I've had to restart this. Your your signature is not binding unless a doctor and a court, actually it takes a court ruling to declare you competent to sign or give permission for anything. You actually need a third party acting in your behalf who is legally competent. I have that third party, but I'm keeping him at a distance. I'm keeping everybody at a distance. Because actually, I could tell based on the questionnaire yesterday that just using my own questionnaire that they could have me put in a nursing home. Mm-mm. I'd rather die. Right now, it looks like, anyway, the woman essentially was calling me. I could tell she really wanted me to negotiate or milk some friends or something for money, greedy fuckers. And they, over in Bryan College Station area, A&M area, they consider themselves strict conservatives. And I reminded her, as I reminded Baylor Scott and White, is that caring for the weak and the frail is a conservative concept. Leftists tend to just herd you into prison camps and labor camps and shit like that. They're, you know, Australia is probably the only successful. Well, England has a lot of people speak highly of the National Health Service there. But this is America, where my life is meaningless if it gets in the way of some specialist doctor getting the maximum amount of money he can. And that really, I had to be kind of abrupt with the lady and the lady with my healthcare service because they wanted to keep reassuring me, because that's how they play the game. Please, I've been reassured for a year now. I'm really only 3 weeks short of being a full year since the injury. I've been jerked around. I've been thrown on the streets repeatedly. Actually, it's more like escape. But technically, in order for them to discharge you, they have to actually sign off and say, right on the forms, it says, patient has no further need for medical treatment. You know how many Oh gosh, I've seen them alter documents. I've seen so much crazy, crooked shit. But that's what they want. And without two functioning arms, I'm unlikely to survive this winter, which leaves me with, being a rational person, but the problem is that intermediary, the county jail, is it going to be a closed air system? Because I really can't, especially like these low price, some of them actually do have pretty decent central air and stuff like that. But the one I'd probably end up in would be have them fucking bare element electric heating systems, which just burn my eyes and stuff, just like the hotel the other night, just the night before last. I'm much more clear-eyed and sinus is clear this morning because I was warm. It's still 40 degrees right now, and it got down to, it was around 39 or something last night, but I was warm and toasty with because I was layered up properly and didn't sleep much, but so it looks like the jig is up. It really does. I'm just trying to figure out what my final moves are going to be and where my body is going to rest. And you know what? Cass Comerford was saying something about it'd be easier in prison than the reform school. That is actually one of my options, is to just commit a felony. And at least in this county, I know that their COVID isolation unit, although the regular cells and stuff like that, the pod, the intake, they're pretty nasty, and the prisoners, I may go on a while here because don't know where my head's going to be this afternoon. I can't get drunk today because I've already taken pain medication. You really can't mix the two. Well, some people would love to, but I'm not going to. Yeah, number one, I don't like vomiting. Junkies actually like to vomit. They get some high. You notice how you feel so much better after you vomit? Junkies always got the sweat rag in their vomit bucket, their vomit deal. I've made a fine study of many types of psychology, including the junkie. Actually, that'd be, please, right. I'm not having any suicidal ideations or shit like that. I'm just trying to face up to the fact that, there's probably going to be a night soon if I don't, but I don't really know where to, and I'll go hypothermic and probably not survive it. It has to come sooner or later. And that's what I got pretty much at 8:15 is either squeeze everybody that you know for money and give it to us so we can fucking continue buying scratch offs and taking cruises to nowhere and enjoying a life of luxury and shit while you are endlessly in boot camp and having to exercise greater discipline than they ever did. I'm really at the point where I just want to say, fuck you, America. Fuck you very much. You've completely failed me and so many millions of other people who contributed to this country. I certainly contributed. I contributed many years to your entertainment. It's one of the reasons I'm all messed up, is contributing to your need and cravings for violent entertainment. Yeah, I was rewarded. I was paid cash money. I was given a college scholarship. Actually, Stanford, that was an alum. That's how they do it. Guaranteed me $300,000 in cash the minute I signed and showed up. And Stanford 5-year contract, 5-year scholarship. The last So after that, they went to 1-year renewables. But I don't know which direction this channel is going to take at this point in time. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to let you know that a video or two back entitled Hope is now titled Hopeless. Yeah, let's call this one Hopeless. Because that's all they want to do is keep dragging it out and dragging it out and dragging it out. That's actually how they do in Social Security disability, is that they know a certain amount will die in that 18 months that they make you wait before they decide your case. 90% are decided in court by administrative law, federal administrative law judge. They know that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, some years 6% will die off, and all they have to do is cover the cost of them dying in a hospital or something, and then they don't have to give them any actual like cash money that they give to all the big corporations like the Samsung. Wonder how much money Samsung got out of the Texas Enterprise Fund to build over there in Hutto. $500 million, $1 billion. So that's how it works. We have all the corporate welfare we need in the world, right? You know, Texas usually runs what, 10 or 12 billion, and used to have a rainy day fund, but we usually keep billions of dollars in the Texas Enterprise Fund to give to poor, struggling corporations like Samsung. But we can't afford to pay for the reconstruction of an old man's shoulder because fucking what good is he? That fucking Kent guy and his big yap. He doesn't get along with the Christians. He doesn't submit to Jesus. Yeah, snuffle. Yeah, fuck Kent. Yeah, fuck him in the asshole. Okay, I'm back. Actually, I had to I had the message conveyed to my doctor that the doctor she referred me to doesn't accept Medicaid. She apparently didn't know that. And I just don't know if I have the strength to keep going on with these fuckers that are just either completely incompetent. There's one group here, a lot of people, but the people are telling me that are generally not well educated, and they couldn't judge a doctor or the skill of a doctor to save their ass. And they might be some of the few cases or there's like a Texas orthopedic. Some people have recommended a doctor or two down there and shit like that, but that's one last thing I can check, and I'll have to go. So I can go out of system if I can find my own, but you know how long that takes and how much money that takes? Showing up clean every time, that's $100 to $200 every fucking time, more. It also would mean going back into Austin, which I would really rather die than go back across the city limits into Austin again. It's that bad down there. It really is. The minute you step into Austin, you're constantly scanning around you, situational awareness at all times. You can't set anything down or it'll just disappear. Boom. They're off. They're running, they got that first 100 yards down with all that meth. They're doing 9-second 100-yard, dashes there. But once they're that far out of range of a cripple, that's who they target too. If you got a cane or you're in a wheelchair and shit like that, if you're in a wheelchair, they know you got a check. And so I'm kind of coming out of it. I got mental there for a few minutes. I actually had, because my healthcare system person was trying to comfort me or something, and I just went, ma'am, loudly, and told her this is the end of the conversation. Please convey the message. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Because that's what she's there getting paid to do. is to chat with me, because I've talked to them before and stuff. It's a call center. They're contract employees who just relay messages and push buttons to. I'm pretty sure they're not. Beating the carpets. The concrete workers out at the Samsung, they track concrete dust all over this town. People have to clean up after them because that's the price of prosperity. You know, honestly, I wonder how much money Samsung got out of the Texas taxpayers. And people wonder why I don't back the Republican Party or Donald Trump. Ike Eisenhower had it right. He said there was a lunatic fringe, a far-right party emerging from the Republican Party. That's the libertarians. Don't believe in anything to help their fellow person, which means that they're largely atheists, because caring for the weak and frail is a conservative principle. And yet all these church-going Karens and stuff like that, they want to be the one there doing the non-anonymous charity. Yeah, you owe Jesus Christ now. Yeah. That 20%, because the way they jack up they have all these sliding scales. They have insurance will pay, and they have the private payer thing, which is through the roof. That 20% could end up being $20,000 between the doctor office visits and part of the cost of surgery and shit. And I just need to face the fact it's been a year. I've been trying to work within the system and shit. Almost every doctor in Austin is absolutely fucking criminal and incompetent. Same time. The only ones trustworthy I found was in Scott and White. And even they would believe what a doctor said over what the obvious evidence was of my own person. One of the doctors that was treating me said that the other doctor, that I had some sort of respiratory problem that caused some kind of a blackout that in it. No, I didn't know. I was drugged. Doctor was lying through his fucking teeth. Well, I have to assume I was drugged because my blood oxygen levels were fine. That was from Zoe's Safe Space. It's actually still there. And that's the young kid. People are going to start telling me to go to Arch. Stuff like that. Go to one of the shelters, because they will kick out a healthy, able-bodied person in favor of you. No. The fragrances, closed air systems. See, I'm the one that has to keep remembering all like when they ask me for allergies, I keep telling them just to couple it and tell them that you just don't administer anything to me without me being conscious and giving permission. I've had them ask me and I told them, you realize that that's 2 pages of drugs and shit that I absolutely cannot take, except and you're not going to remember them. Are you going to stop and read those, go through the 2 pages, even if I do it in alphabetical order? No, you're not. You need to ask me every time before any drug. That's why I reject almost all drugs, is I know that they either don't work and they're toxic as shit and could blind me, fuck me up, liver malfunction, kidney malfunction, all kind of other shit. If you had been through the horror that I've been through, especially University Hospital, Austin Seton University Hospital, right there on the campus, which has been in the news here for the last couple of years about what a horrific establishment it is. I survived that fucking place. Can't believe it, because they kept me in a coma, a chemically induced coma, for 4 days. I remember coming to, and when I called Bruno, I somehow managed to get a hold of a fucking phone, dialed his number while just barely conscious enough, but I've actually debated a doctor while I was still under general anesthesia. You don't know who you're fucking with. I'm Kent Kruger. I'm a bipolar 2 with about a 30-watt brain, whereas the average brain is 10 watts. You know, I can punch through anesthesia and hold a conversation. I proved that to the 30 doctors that were in the room. I never opened my eyes, and I was still able to point. I could tell just by the sounds and the echoes exactly I was back in my own bed. But it's scheduled to rain tonight, so I have to decide, am I going to begin spending down and get a hotel room again, or actually I've got enough to. There's one place not too far from here that I get a hotel room for, according to them the other day, for $539 for a week. I'm not sure if that includes everything. There's liable to be $150 worth of taxes, and on top of that, they always try to. They're claiming that all inclusive, but I don't know if I believe them. And my food is so cheap now. I might be able to do that, but that's only for a week. You know, we were passing little hotels on those little towns. If that's actually my better shot, is I might be able to afford a month, but then they're going to have that same problem where they probably got the windows screwed shut, and they have bare element electric fucking wall units to heat the place. I smoke, and yet my doctor heard me deep. Still got about it. Even when I was having oxygen problems and was messed up, had a broken arm, I was one of the few patients that could actually, they make you suck. You don't suck at air, you blow at air. But I was the only one that could suck the little green thing up to the top of the scale and passed it. Every time on the first breath, no problem. No. They just used to just leave it there knowing I'm going to pass it every time. Everybody keeps trying to ride me about smoking. Smoking is the least of my fucking worries. My biggest worry is that I'm in a town full of people that probably half of them hate my ass because I won't accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I won't. What was the title, the subtitle? Learning to Surrender. You know, the religious groups tend to, I'm sure it's because they have a tax advantage. They're supposed to technically be non-profit and stuff like that, and committed the profits margin that they do have to continued expansion and improvement. But really right now, knowing the state of Texas very well, there's and I've already pissed off local. There's only about one religious group left, and it's actually the religious group that my family provided land for, and that's the Methodists. The land that was part of Stephen Fuller Austin's first four league grant here in New Spain. The northeast corner of that was conveyed to Reverend Thomas and the First Methodist settlement in Texas. And they're probably the fuckers that burned down Baylor University, is my, if I'm doing some historical conjecture, because I really don't think it was Indians that burned down the original wooden Baylor University, which wasn't, best of my recollection, it's over in Washington County. It wasn't up in McLennan County. I'm trying to get in the proper mood, and I have barely enough pain relief to maybe make it to another state where at least it'd be warm enough to where I might be able to survive miserably. But I don't know. I got decisions to make, but I also need to accept the fact that I'm pretty much on the outs with everybody, because I'm not going to tolerate incompetent shit. And they want, like, the people that have experience, they want big money and shit. They're there to serve the wealthy. That's one of the reasons that doctor deliberately fucked up my foot, the skin graft on my foot, is he's used to getting paid big money from rich, fat, white women to suck out their fat and do a tummy tuck and make them look sexy again, when actually probably naked they still look horrible. But they have the money. If I was running the show, except for reconstructive surgery, there would be no plastic surgery. There would be no fucking Kim Kardashians or these other freaks that run around here. No China that, oh gosh, with the implant. Nothing. Reconstructive surgery? Yes. Plastic surgery for beauty? No. You got a hair lip? Yeah, that's done deal. Your face been crushed in, or stuff from some accident? Yeah. But just because you have $1 million to spend on enhancement surgery or some shit like that, no. It's funny how it's almost like the other day, actually, we had, right about this time, we had about an hour. Well, I mean, the day it rained, the day before yesterday, we had about an hour of, like right now, it's not full sun, it's poking through some clouds. Then came in the gray clouds from the southwest off of the Pacific Ocean. And tonight, at the very clinic that I just told you, that this new black woman that's apparently a new hire was rude to me this morning. There's one other place I might want to scope out. Let's see, I don't really want to give up on that spot. That bench is necessary for me to fight the edema. It's not like I'm so proud I won't sleep on the ground. It's the fact that I have a broken arm, and I have to have a place where I can, told you a million times, where I can drop my legs and pump or push up with one arm. And then still need like a handle there, an arm rest for that final push to get up when I'm really stiff. And that woman this morning really didn't realize that I could, right then, because the moment I stood up, could tell that my back was close to going. It took me forever to walk from there, dump my sleeping bag under the tree, and get up here to get a cup of coffee. Fucking 500 feet took me about a good 15 minutes. It was, and guess who was in Starbucks first thing this morning? It was Curtis Wyman again, in there just working furiously. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear the news that I won't be around to testify against him much longer. Not that I really got anything criminal on him. He's just his criminal associations. And the fact that he was a little too close to that ice pick situation. You know, it is listed in my medical records that I am a Jew. I have to keep thinking about that too. I have no idea what I'm going to tell Bruno. I don't like deceiving him, but I think I'm going to have to. Because he might volunteer to pay the money, and I'm not going to tolerate that. And I've already warned you, if you try to start a GoFundMe, let me put it to you right now. When I first got booted out of West Oaks Rehab and Skilled Nursing Facility for their claim that I was not cooperating with rehab, no, I wasn't not cooperating. They weren't giving me pain relief. They were being vicious as hell. They wanted most of the rehab was they wanted to use me to entertain people with dementia and strokes. Had nothing to do with the repair of my arm. And the, the medical staff was absolutely just contemptible. It was just, and I managed to hang on to enough money where I was able to Uber out of there. I told you, they tried to literally take my wheelchair out from under my ass, claiming they owned it. No, it's my wheelchair. I don't know why I'm dragging this out so damn long. Well, that's pretty much my options right now, is either go ahead and try to weather it out and probably die in the process, or just do what a lot of people in Maine and stuff, they just commit a felony and then go into Penobscot County Jail for the winter. As a matter of fact, those guys fight over it. They try to commit a higher crime than, so they could bump somebody out. So they'll release somebody on bond. They really do. They have to escalate their criminal activity to get a bed. And what I mean, Yankees are actually nice people. They give you pillows. Does Texas give you pillows? Hell no. A lot of states don't. They believe in just straight up torture right off the bat. So that's pretty much my. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I could do that right here at the. Because gentleman's here getting his. I'm always bugging because I'm sitting right for the windbreak. I'm sitting right next to the Amazon yellow hub box, which last night it took over. I gave him pinned exactly this position, and 3 drivers couldn't find it. It's amazing. Have a good one, man. See, that's it right there. I could just pretend to rob somebody here at the Amazon box. Uh-oh, now I got it on record, public. Oh, shit. I fucked up with that one. Still, that may only qualify as petty theft. I need something that will get me years. Just, go ahead. Because I really need to go to, I could plead guilty. And, well, see, now I'm confessing, and didn't really think about that. If somebody turns this over to a judge, the judge will just throw the whole case out. Fuck. Forgot they will do that. But that's pretty much it. I really can't handle any of the shelter situations and shit. It's just, that's my medical need. I can't tolerate the crowding. I can't tolerate the fragrances. I can't tolerate the fucking heating systems and shit. You know, it's see right now. Even despite I told you the humidity last night was through the roof. It was 99%. Actually, it was 100. The air was completely saturated last night. That's 100%. Uh, but yet, my airways open. If my voice wasn't kind of torn up from age and other things, this is one of those days that I would be singing if I was in a good mood. I'd have my music mixes on and shit like that. But I didn't finish warning you. If you're thinking about starting I didn't finish the statement. When I was booted from West Oaks rehab, uh, in my desperation, but I know that they don't really. I'd already reviewed it. I downloaded the GoFundMe app, and you can clearly see that unless you're connected to a church, unless you have like 5,000 Facebook friends or something like that, or somebody that asking for money for a homeless old man, usually zero or $20, 18 months ago. And I just made a simple video and simple request for a substantial amount of money to get me off the streets. That's part of the thing, is that they have to take, I have to go to rehab after surgery because I have no home. They can't do it outpatient. And that's where it starts to run into the $100,000 plus mark on the surgery, and rehab is going to be over $100,000. But the government knows this is when usually almost the vast majority of a person's medical expenses occur, is in the final, months or final year or two of their life. They've got people out there that have, sucked up hundreds of millions in oxygen, insulin, all kind of stuff with chronic health problems, right? Liver from drinking, and yet I can't get a little shoulder fixed. But I'm warning you, there already exists a GoFundMe account, so I've already identified myself to GoFundMe. It's been up there now for 8 months. It was tied to the phone that was stolen. And in 8 months, I could go, no, I don't have the app anymore. I deleted the app. Oh, no, wait, I can browse it. And I'll bet you 8 months later, not a single penny. Not one. Now, if your doggy, I'm going to finish with this pretty soon here. Now, if your doggy got hurt and stuff, all you got to do is put like one of them plastic cones around its neck and tell them you got $5,000 worth of vet bills. A bunch of little old ladies will pony up $10,000. We'll feed them something special too, okay? If it's a child, no problem with medical. A lot of people like to give, but it's almost 80-90% of all donations come from women. And it's got to be somebody that they like children or puppies or kitties. If you really wanted to scam GoFundMe, all you got to do is get a picture of a dog and make up a story. GoFundMe doesn't check. That's it. I'm either probably going to die from exposure this winter or end up in jail. And doesn't really matter because I'm already in a jail of pain and a jail of social. I don't want to say ostracism, but just social isolation, because I can't afford to socialize with people who are better off and younger and healthy, and We just don't mix because of finances, the same way we didn't really mix racially in Carlmont in the 70s because the difference in finances, not race, but finances. So that's pretty much it. That's the update. Is my doctor didn't do her homework thoroughly enough, and or they just think that, you know, that I'm going to do a GoFundMe or I'm going to squeeze Bruno for. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. I'd rather die first, honestly. I'm not shitting you. I really have no fear of death. The only thing I fear is that it will take too long. That's the only thing I worry about is, you know, will it be quick or will it be slow and torturous like the past 70 years? So that's pretty much it. Uh, and please, no comments on this video. Just, no, please, just don't do that. I don't really need, I don't. Just let it go. You can watch the video, but please, no, I may shut off comments. Yeah. Later.